Welcome to another episode of Music Musings. I am your host, Derek. With me is Pat. How are you today, Pat?
I'm great. I think it's safe to say we're away from the snow. We're away from the snow now. They said there was going to be a storm, and it's nothing. I'm happy. Spring is. I can smell it. I can smell the barbecue. I can smell all the good vibes outside. So I'm really happy. I'm just excited.
It's officially spring now.
Yes.
Officially is spring. We're there.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that. It's wonderful because I'm just tired of this coat stuff, man. It's
coat stuff.
Yeah. Cause it's all this extra, you got to lug it around. And if it gets too warm, then you got to take it off, but then you don't want to store it and then forget. I'm sorry. I'm rambling now. Now I'm rambling, but you know where I stand.
Yeah. No more coats. No more coats.
Yes. People. No more coats. Light jackets. That's it.
There you go. Yeah. I love it. We were outside today. Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Soaking in the vitamin D from the sun. Just getting it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me. I'm on the same page. I was like, we're here. We're here. Spring's here.
Love it.
Yeah.
So before we jump into speaking of the spring, what's been your rotation this week? Where are you at?
We're going right into it. Okay. Rotation, since you brought it up the last episode when we talked about Logic, I had to go dive back into some of his older stuff. His first album, his breakout album, I think Under Pressure, in my opinion, was really good. I've been listening to that a little bit. Been listening to Chronixx. It's he's a famous reggae artist. He makes a lot of soulful music. I've been listening to the song Resilient and Never Give Up. It's just good vibes. I love to start my day with that. Another band that I've been really vibing with, Durand Jones and Indications. Personally, I think this was like one of the things I discovered during, the pandemic was like all these unique bands that had like sounds that are very like 70s, like decade era like sounding. And it's soulful, it's wonderful. And last but not least is a personal favorite of mine, Tems, which is a Nigerian artist. She's like phenomenal. I've been listening to her album, Born in the Wild and For Broken Ears lately. So it's been like a little mixture of everything, but basically I'm looking for something wholesome. That's what I've been listening to lately.
Wow. Love that. Love that. I'll have to check some of those artists out. Never. Not heard.
It's well, I'll add some to the playlist, and I think everybody should just, at least if you have a moment, just give a listen to some of these artists, and obviously the band I mentioned, you'll have a great time. But enough about me. I'm curious, what is on your rotation this week?
Yeah, some of the same stuff. The 1975 is still there. They're just glued there.
Hey, you can't go wrong with them. You
You really can't. So they're there. I've been listening to some Michael Jackson.
Ooh, okay.
Just and anything. It's kind of been all over the place, but any Michael Jackson I've been really digging and just listening to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that.
And then I'm going, high school Derek, Taking Back Sunday.
Okay.
And then also Alkaline Trio.
Mm-hmm.
Another, punk, I don't know, emo, rock, whatever, the alternative, you want to call them.
Yeah.
And then Thrice. Also a favorite of mine. Thrice.
Yeah. When you put me on the Thrice, that was I get it. I understand exactly why now you like them.
Yeah, they're a talented group. And they just came out with some new music. They just released, well, it's not that new. They came out with a new album back in October.
Okay.
Horizons West. Really good album. It's their sound, and that's what I love about Thrice. They've experimented a little bit here and there, but they've always stuck to their just raw, aggressive, powerful sound. And they just have stayed true to who they are over the many years that they've been around. And this is their 12th studio album, so they know what they're doing.
Apparently, I love that.
Yeah. So if you haven't checked them out, check them out. All this will be updated on our Spotify playlist that we update weekly. So if you haven't subscribed to it, you can do that by following the link in our podcast profile. And yeah, you'll get updates every week.
Yeah, always. Yeah. I will co-sign people if you listen to Thrice. I think Derek put me onto them. I co-sign that.
Love it.
Love it. All right.
So what are we getting into today, Pat? What are we getting into?
All right. So we've always discussed like boy bands and music groups today, and I think it was such a interesting idea of bringing up the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and all these groups that kind of like captured probably the 90s and the early 2000s. And I figured that we discuss, does the artists today that that we know of, do they need groups? Because there were some people who were pioneers who got their their starts in like music groups and boy bands and decided to take it to the next level. And we're going to discuss that today. I wanted to bring up obviously certain personal favorites, some of Derek's personal favorites, but before we get into the solo acts, let's discuss what made the group work. What was the concept of a music group? So I kind of wanted to like, people always ask like, how do they work? What is the purpose of their like the roles? If there's like a couple of guys or a couple of ladies, what are their job into bringing music today? So I think it's interesting to like break that down from my perspective. And obviously, Derek, please feel free to jump in. I think if we had to discuss like groups, we're talking about Destiny's Child, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. If you want to say like the early 2000s,
Yeah.
I think one of the main things I believe is the formula that works. And even the Beatles, if you want to consider the bands, but I think groups be a little different because I think with music groups and artists, you have clear rules. There's always supposed to be like a balance. So you have the standout voice, or somebody who has like the high pitch, the great range, or just charisma. And then you have the creative driver, somebody who is definitely a forward thinking or a avant-garde way of approaching music, fashion, etc., or the image of the band, or group. And then you have obviously the personality, the whoever is like the splash, the interesting, the edge, whatever you require in that group. There's that, there's always like these different roles that a group can have. So, and obviously, you have to have creative chemistry. You have to have, people think it's just talent, and talent alone will not always carry an artist or a group. Sometimes you have to understand how to think about ideas, how to mesh them out, how to plan it, how to sort it, how to prepare it structurally. So that way the concept of what you're trying to do, whether it's in a song, whether it's a album, whether it's some sort of concept you're trying to portray with the image of the group, you have to discuss it together. You have to kind of like work as a unit.
Yeah. And I listen to what you're saying. I think it's a lot of good points there. I think there's definitely going to be different roles in each group, and people are naturally going to fill those roles. And I think there is a point, I think we've seen it happen a lot, where there is somebody in the group who is the most talented, or can do pretty much everything in the group. And sometimes that leads to, this dynamic where you have this one person who is the diva, or the breakout, the force behind everything. And that can really break a band or a group, right?
Yeah.
And it's important that these, people they put together, there has to be really good team dynamics. Because if that doesn't exist, doesn't matter how talented that group is, it's going to fall apart at some point.
Agreed. And I think we see that all the time with, not all the time, but we see it here and there with groups where there's always somebody that will always kind of like, I get it, they want to, they want to get noticed, they want recognition, but sometimes they're willing to sabotage a group effort just so that they can kind of stand out. And sometimes that can be the downfall of a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I make myself look better than everyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I want all the credit and attention.
Right. But yeah, exactly. But I think, and when we think about music groups, but separate from bands, I think bands, yes, there will always be kind of like the vocalist will always be like kind of the front person, but they all play a role in terms of instruments, in terms of harmony of the song. So they're actively, like, let's say like they're recording an album or whatever. The bassist plays a part, the drummer plays a part. They play a vital role into what we hear. But a group have to be, yes, they're singing in harmony, but I think there is more of an emphasis to understand the role in bands. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I feel like with bands, it's understandable for like, we have to make sure we're on point and we all have a vital role to play. But I think with groups,
I think I get what you're saying. I think it's each person's role is attached to like an instrument or a certain vocal line or harmony. Like there's a performance piece they're attached to, right?
Right.
And I guess what you're saying is with groups like maybe Destiny's Child, although the three of them, or there was four of them at one point, right?
I believe so, but it was normally three. But they might be
the
four,
three of them. We'll just go there. The three of them,
yeah,
each have like a singing part, a harmony, and like there is some performance obviously to it.
Right.
But with that, there is more also of an emphasis of, okay, what's your appearance? What is your persona in this role? Where I guess if you're in I don't know, like a rock band, I mean, it still might exist, but maybe it's not as important.
Right.
And I guess that can be debated.
Yeah, that's true. That is
kind of but yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, so when we're talking about like these groups, but just like that, it's important to like the concept of like the band, whether you're talking about BTS in the current, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but they all play a vital role. Every single member plays a vital role. Whether archetypes, whether they're the image, whether it's the performance aspect, everybody has a role to play, and they all, it's a part of a team. But there's always going to be somebody that tries to be the breakout guy or the breakout, artist. So I wanted to, I thought that was a very interesting, breakdown for us to understand like why they had such success. Why do they dominate the radio, whether they dominate fashion, whether they dominated like just pop culture, etc. So I just kind of thought that was an interesting viewpoint.
Yeah, and I think it's important to view that, right, and think about, well, what are the roles? But then I think the next point is, again, the chemistry, but also what is the shared vision of this group? Because you have to all align on what is the vision of this group? What's our sound going to be? What is, what's our goal? What's our ambition here? And what's the direction we're going in? And thinking about not just, musically how you perform, but also a lot of these bands, it's like, how do you perform on stage, like dancing, or what is the concept you have, and what's your look going to be? What kind of, again, personas are you going to have and take ownership of? So you really have to think about all of that. It's not just about one element when you're in these groups. It's all of these factors, persona, look, concept, all of that. You have to have that shared vision, because again, if you don't have that, it's not going to be clear to your audience.
No.
So
you're right. You were absolutely correct. You're right. The whole, like, I guess, ensemble of it all, and especially on the performance aspect, whether you're performing live or music videos, the fact that everything moves in, coordination and symmetry and understanding of each other's like role. But you're right. It is important to have such a unifying like perspective on what we're trying to achieve.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that having all of that
Mhm.
kind of forms this identity of your group.
Mhm.
Because once I think you all know and you all understand, like you're all
Mhm.
driving towards the same point and idea and goal, well, now
Mhm.
you know what is the identity of your group.
Right.
Which is great and helpful for your audience because now it's like, they hear one song and they know who is this band.
Right.
Like, oh, that's Nirvana or whatever.
Mhm.
Because again, that's what your audience is going to associate you with. It's like your persona, your sound, your
Mhm.
look. And if you don't have that, how are people going to identify you and
Exactly. Yeah.
enjoy your
Like,
music or whatever?
right. So you don't want to be like a carbon copy of what someone else is doing or just did recently. So it's important to have that uniqueness, have that like special ability, I said special image to make everyone say, okay, no, that group is different. That one is different, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. So since, and I think this, is a perfect segment into now the main meat and potatoes of the episode. We're talking about solo artists. Now,
Meat and potatoes.
who says no to meat and potatoes? Anyway, the real truth. And most groups don't really fail because they don't lack talent. And then it kind of goes back into what we were saying is there's always friction. People have someone wants to be the breakout artist. Somebody wants to have a different perspective, whether it's a new sound or a new idea or a new fashion. And sometimes not everybody can get along with that. Not everybody can find the same understanding of what we're trying to do. So, and then sometimes that creates the special, let's say, sauce, since we're talking about food, the special thing that binds everyone together. All of a sudden it no longer works because not everybody has the same, they're not ready at the table to do the same thing. So that's why some people walk away from the table. When we talk about the Timberlakes, we're talking about the Beyoncés, et cetera, et cetera. We'll go into their, careers and whatnot. But then the question is, and here's, I guess, a question I'll ask you, and then I'll ask and I'll go next. Did they need the group to start their career?
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's hard to say because
Mhm.
okay, like I'm thinking of Justin Timberlake.
Same. I was
Just
thinking the same thing.
because that
Mhm.
popped into my head. I mean, he was on, the Disney thing before
Mhm.
NSYNC, but even then, like he wasn't huge. He was a kid
Mhm.
actor on
Mm.
Disney.
Mhm.
I think NSYNC got him that exposure
Mhm.
of his persona, his personality, because he was somebody in that group who was highlighted. Like he
Yeah.
was more spotlighted than the rest of that group, obviously.
Mhm.
And I think it was because of that, because he was seen as somebody more exceptional than everyone else in that group, that
Mhm.
helped him to kind of kickstart his solo career.
Right.
So yeah, I think most of the time it is needed unless
Mhm.
that person is very secure with what they want to do and they already know their identity, then they know like
Mm.
I don't really need this group, but maybe
Yeah.
I'll try it out,
Mm. Agreed.
you know. But I think for
Yeah.
most artists who are going that path,
Mhm.
um, it's helpful to be in a talented group. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking the same exact thing. I think if you already have an idea of what your sound is or your unique element is, I think if you already have that established, then no, you don't need a group. But if you're still like young and still discovering and still experimenting, then I think a group would help in terms of, I guess, like, sharpening on certain techniques or sharpening on your technical aspects or just understanding what you are in, in a group. Then if you think about what's in a group, then you start asking yourself the questions, what can I be outside that group? So I think you're right that if you already had a foundation of what you're trying to do with
Mhm.
your career or your sound or your artistry, then, then you don't need a group. But if you're still kind of like unsure or going with the winds or et cetera, or especially if you're young, then I think a group helps hone in on certain areas where you might be green on. So I agree with you on that.
I'm thinking about your point,
Mm,
just going back about like why most groups fall apart.
mm,
It's not necessarily because of talent. I think not always about talent, but I think the biggest point there is just people going in different directions. And
mm,
I was thinking about a couple of bands that
mm,
it went sideways because people were
mm.
going in different directions. Like I'm thinking about Rage Against the Machine, and
Oof.
I remember like the members were literally fist fighting with each other,
Wow.
arguing about like directions of songs or the album.
Mm,
And I remember like members left.
mm,
Zach, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Zach De La Rocha, pretty sure that's
mm.
wrong. Left because of that.
Mm,
But I remember they brought in Chris Cornell from Audio Slave to kind of help the rest of the band kind of bring Rage back. But it was literally, I'm pretty sure they were getting into fistfights over just certain directions of the song, and they just could not
Wow.
agree with each other.
Mm.
Which is also similar to like Oasis, how the two brothers could just not
Yeah.
get an agreement of
along.
anything and would
Yeah.
literally fight each other.
Yeah.
It gets, and I think it's more. I think more talent just actually fuels the fire in some ways. So it's not a lack of talent. I think sometimes it may be too much talent in the room.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting perspective. You might have a solid point on that. That might be a good point.
But anyway, no, it is. It's very interesting about how these groups just fall apart.
Yeah.
And we don't always know right away, and sometimes we really never know the true answer.
Yeah, that's true. That is why it's like when we, obviously I loved Destiny's Child growing up. Personally, I liked Kelly Rowland and Beyonce, but when they broke up, and I was like, yeah, I get it. It's B is another is just she's a different caliber.
Yeah, that I mean, we were young, right? But
Yeah.
like, even being young, I still was like, Beyonce's a lot better than both of them.
Yeah.
Like, she's
yeah.
she's a lot better.
Yeah. Like, no disrespect to Kelly Rowland, and
No.
I'm sorry to say this, I can't remember the third person, but no, she's just a different caliber. She's just in a different. Yeah. Yeah. Now we feel bad because we're neglecting the third person, and I feel wrong.
Michelle Williams.
There we go. Shout out to Mrs. Williams.
Sad. Yeah. But no, it was she was eons or huge steps above them, and it just made sense that she was like, okay, well, I had my fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make billions
I'm gonna
of
go
dollars.
I'm gonna go be Beyonce.
Right.
That's literally what she's probably saying. Like, I'm gonna go be Beyonce now. I'm sorry.
This has been good. Bye, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get together every 10 years and we'll do a little song together.
Reunion, yeah.
Right.
Oh no, that feels disrespectful to Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams.
But I think
it's like, I
think they did their own thing for a minute.
Yeah, Kelly Rowland definitely was. I think she put out a few in the mid 2000s. She was putting out songs, and I think she probably had a project or two. I remember listening to Kelly Rowland's music here and there. So that is true. She did had her own solo career. I do not know about Michelle Williams, but but nonetheless, you're right. But back to the point, like Beyonce went on and had I think, monster success if you want to compare it to any other. I think of all artists besides like Michael Jackson, I think in the modern era, I think she's probably the biggest artist in recent memory that I can think of that excelled from her group and had just monster success in our modern age.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone currently bigger.
Yeah.
From a group or just in general.
That's a different conversation. You're right. In general, that's a different conversation. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But we've had other artists that had success from groups. We're talking about Justin Timberlake from NSYNC. He had a very unique combination of mature pop, a little bit R&B, if you ask me, vibes with his career, especially the mid to late 2000s, and early into 2010s as well. He was having a definitely career. He was figuring out his sound. He realized he can be a little bit of an all-around type, pop / R&B artist in terms of like blending sounds. And, I think he surrounded himself with like great collaborators and producers, such as, Timbaland and a few other people who just helped him, I guess, further his sound and his artistry, if you want to say. Let's see. And obviously, just as we just mentioned, the legend himself, MJ, from the Jackson 5, starting at a young age, and then all of a sudden, the youngest among the brothers, but then all of a sudden be the biggest ever in, I think, history of pop music. So it's like you can have that career.
It's amazing how a lot of people, younger generations now, don't know that Michael Jackson started in the Jackson 5. Like they just think,
really?
And I can believe that. I can.
Yeah, same here. But
Michael Jackson was so huge, he kind of deleted that part of his career because himself was so huge that it's like nothing else mattered. But you can't forget that he was in the Jackson 5. That's part of his history. But a lot of younger people, and no offense to younger people, there are definitely younger people out there who know that. I'm just saying, conversations that I've had, many don't know even what the Jackson 5 was. So
that's fair. You know what? You're right. I'll give him that. That's career. If you're right. It's such like us. It sounds disrespectful to the rest of them, but it was like a small like chapter in his long career. Even though, yes, it gave him his start, but I think he's just had such monumental success, I say, for decades. Like he probably dominated the 80s, 90s, even going into the
early
90s
2000s.
Even early 2000s. Like I think the 90s is probably, I think in my opinion, I'd say the 80s is my favorite era if I had to pick of Jackson's music. Going into 90s, but we could talk about that later because
another album or another
exactly,
another album.
Another we're dropping an album next week.
Look out for our next album.
Oh man.
Okay.
But any other artists that you think that, in your opinion, that had monumental success exiting a group?
Yeah, I mean, this can go on, but Gwen Stefani from No Doubt. Really, go ahead. Tell the world.
I'll all right. So before this is true story. Before as I was researching this episode, I actually did not know Gwen Stefani was in a group. I learned something about myself today, and I'm embarrassed because I actually love Gwen Stefani's music very much, but I did not know she was from a group. I thought she was just a solo artist that broke out. I was just like, fantastic. Now I am going to do I'm gonna do some homework.
It's okay. It's a safe space,
So thank you. I felt safe admitting that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, but he was very talented. Switched lanes into like pop rock. early 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
So very successful. Did we mention this? Phil Collins from Genesis.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That guy has I like when I first thought and this well, I knew about Genesis. But I discovered Phil Collins first, and then I found out he was in a band.
Yeah.
But you know, a drummer, and but I think Phil Collins, that I'll never explain. I don't think anyone really understands how much he shaped my childhood. I've watched Tarzan millions of times, like in a very unhealthy amount.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll I'll let you take this one because Phil Collins is that's a tough one for me.
No, I mean, what can
Yeah.
what can you say about him? I mean, he's a fantastic drummer, fantastic entertainer,
Yeah.
and can sing while he's playing the drums. I mean, that's ridiculous in itself.
Yeah.
I always love watching his early 90s, late 80s videos of them playing live. Not only Genesis, but also just him by himself. And he always looks like he just came from work and just showed up. Like he's always wearing like a collared shirt, and some khakis.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
oh man.
I love it because it's like, here's this guy. He looks like he just drove in from, his office job and he's playing to like an arena or something.
That's Phil, baby.
Yeah, I love it. And then we have Sting.
Oh yeah.
Also an incredible bass player who can play different rhythms on his bass and then sing melodies and different rhythms, like singing. So he's doing 2 different rhythms.
So he's wow, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know how he's doing that.
That is I don't know. That's a talent. It's like moving 2 different like doing 2 different things independently without them overlapping that is a talent. I'm saying it. You could say skill. I'm saying talent. That's talent.
I mean, I call it what you want. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, I bet. I believe it. Like now I want to see it perform live and like listen to it and maybe catch on. But I think he's wonderful. I think he's fantastic. I've heard of Police, the band first, but
yeah.
But then I was like, oh, he had a solo career. That's cool. But yeah, I agree with you. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, so those are some of the artists I know. I know we've got a few more. Any other big ones you want to talk about? Who else?
Oh, all right. So we're talking about early 80s and 90s. All right, let's take a stop into the hip hop, R&B, and rap side. I think Ice Cube from NWA was well, to be honest with you, he was one of the main like writers in the group in terms of lyrics. Obviously, you have Eazy-E, you have Dre. He wrote, I think, majority of the lyrics of their songs, of their biggest hits. He split off and went his own career. He's phenomenal writer. He has a very good writing from the West Coast. He has a very good writing storytelling ability with his lyrics. Another person that also broke away from NWA is Dr. Dre. Now, he wasn't really, yes, he's a rapper, but he was a producer first. He's obviously, if you don't know who Dr. Dre is, I'm sure that's not possible, but he is, but he's exceptional. His exceptional production skills, fantastic ability to string together unique sounds. If anything, you can consider him, like some people consider him the godfather of G-Funk, which is the sound that is associated with the West Coast. But then you got another person from a band, group, the Fugees. We're going to have to mention Lauryn Hill. And this is probably one of my favorite artists to ever break from a group ever, is Lauryn Hill. Now, I know the Fugees, but then when I heard she had a solo album, which I think is one of the greatest albums hip hop has ever produced, and if you ever get a chance, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, please give it a try. It
Yeah.
is some of the best work I've ever heard from an artist. And last but not least, it's not a group, but it's a duo, and which is Outkast. You have to mention Andre 3000.
Yeah.
One of the most, I think, in my opinion, he's in my top 5 rappers and artists ever, and just simply because of the versatility slash like absolute understanding of the craft, absolute understanding of songwriting, absolute understanding of lyrics, understanding of just music in general. Man can rap, he can sing, he can harmonize, he can create such a wonderful ability of rhyming. It's like it's poetic. It's very poetic. I think he's been his first album with Big Boy on Outkast was I think in 91. I can't remember the name. I know it starts with an A. But phenomenal without a doubt, and he hasn't had a solo album per se, but he's always been a frequent collaborator. When everyone always associate, if you see Andre 3000, you know quality is right there. It's almost guaranteed.
Yeah. I was just looking up their first album.
Is it Southern?
Yes,
Southern Houston Playlist, something like that. I think it is.
Southern Playlist Cadillac Music.
Yes, you're right. And the second one is something with an A. It was Aqua something? I can't remember. It's all right. I got a little brain fart for a second. But
happens, everybody.
But nonetheless, these are artists that had their start in groups or, with a band, and they've had their own success separate from them. So,
yeah. I mean, these are some big names we just talked about. So, which kind of goes nicely into our next segment here, which, it's the big question of the night.
Go for it.
Did going solo actually work? Because we talked about it, being successful can mean different things, bigger commercial hits, more creative control, and stronger cultural impact. So, some of these artists may end up eclipsing their group entirely, becoming bigger names on their own than if they were ever together, but others not really quite reaching that same height. And sometimes the group itself changes too. So they could continue on without that member or replace them sometimes, or just fade into the sunset.
That sounds poetic. Yeah.
But either way, the legacy will kind of shift. So I don't know. Let's get your thoughts. What do you think? Going solo actually work?
I think it works for people who have, I'd say, just talent, but confidence in their evolution as an artist. So whether you're talking about the Timberlakes, whether you're talking about the Beyoncés, you're talking about the Phil Collins, you're talking about Andre 3000, you have somebody, if you have such an understanding of, one, your craft, two, you have confidence that you're, whether at this moment or in a year or 5 years from now, that you can make a bigger splash solo. And obviously with, over years, when you work in a group, you develop like friendships, you develop sometimes like a familial bond, but it takes confidence to say, I can have my own album, I can have my own projects, I can have my own sound that's unique from the group. So I think it's important and only worth it if you truly are understanding yourself and you understand where you're going with your sound. Then I think the next step is, do you have the confidence to see it through? Yeah.
I agree with that, and I think I'll add a little more to that.
Please do.
I think everything you said is accurate, and I agree. I think what also matters is if you have the it factor.
Explain that, please.
I think it's hard to explain, but it's again, I come to just think of like Beyonce, and I think it's just something like she was just born to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just had that personality, that trait about her, the confidence about her, that you know, she could just do it by herself, and she did. And she ended up being much more successful than Destiny's Child. So it's hard because I think you can have all these other elements. You can have talent. You can have charisma. You can have certain elements of personality. But I think what's hard to explain is, you know, that doesn't always work. There's sometimes it's just this it factor, which it's hard to really describe what that it is. But like when you see it, you know it. And if some artists, if you don't have that, it doesn't really work out for you.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with what you said, but it's just something a little bit more extra that you got to have.
No, you're absolutely correct. Because when you say the it factor, and it's hard to define, but I thought about it when you said Beyonce. Think about Beyonce now versus the beginning of her career, or of her solo career. Beyonce's taking more liberties and more creative challenges now, where she's now like, you know what? What else can I do? What else can I try? What other new sounds can I explore? Like that it factor, I'm sure it's hard to define, but I think the fact that she knew from the beginning that she's like, I can kind of do whatever I want musically. Like if I'm like musically, performance-wise, artistry, collaboration, like she had all the tools. So the question is, you know, is she, you know, did she wanted to try this new thing? She wanted to try this new sound. She's like, you know what? I have the confidence. I'll figure it out. And the it factor, I think, is an element of that. So you're absolutely correct. I agree with you on that.
And, you know, some artists that I'm thinking of who were in some pretty big groups, but failed after.
Oh, please. Honor and mention.
So,
sorry.
No. Scott Stapp, who, do you remember Creed? That band Creed?
Yeah.
He was the singer of Creed. And he went solo after the group. And I mean, have you heard from him since?
Nope. I know Creed before I know that.
Right, because it failed terribly. Also, I'm going to say her name real wrong, and I apologize. Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls, lead singer.
Wow, that is a throwback.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot.
She went solo.
Oh man.
After, you know, the band Pussycat Dolls, and did not get any success from that.
Yikes.
This is also an interesting one because it did end up actually being successful. Darius Rucker.
I'm not sure.
So he initially failed from Hootie and the Blowfish, right? Am I the right guy? Just want to make sure, double check myself. Yeah, Hootie and the Blowfish. So he was in that, and they were a very successful band. Early 90s. Then he went solo, but he went solo first as like a rock artist, like a rock solo artist, which failed. But now he's a country singer. You don't know, do you know the song Wagon Wheel?
Not sure. I'm not sure. Sorry. For those who can't see, Derek is judging me.
No, so he wrote the song Wagon Wheel, which was big. Yeah. I think it was like 2000. What song was that? Oh, wow, 2013. Okay, I thought that was 2020. That was 2013 that came out. But it was a very popular song. You need to go hear it right after this.
Oh man!
So
Derek,
he had like there was a period of he failed, but then he got himself back when he found, country music or country pop, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, some of these artists, it's interesting. They were in pretty big groups, but without their group, they couldn't do it. And again, I think they were missing some element that maybe their group kind of made up for. Whereas like somebody like Beyonce, she kind of has it all, so she doesn't really need a group to back her up.
Yeah. That's fair.
So it's interesting. Just interesting how that works.
Yeah. That's wonderful though, but I will do my homework after this. All right. Before we segment, I thought we could play a little quick game.
Yes.
All right.
Haven't played a game in a minute.
Yeah, I know. We apologize, guys, but we're bringing it back. All right. So I'll start the first round, and I'll see how you feel about it.
Sure.
So we're gonna the game is called Solo versus Group. All right. Now I'm gonna say the artist, and then I'm gonna say the group, and you get to decide solo or group. All right. First round.
So, which is more like which I like more, or which?
Oh yes.
Do I think
I'm sorry.
is
Yes.
More?
Which one do you think is? Which one do you prefer?
Okay.
The solo artist or the group?
Got it. Okay.
All right. So I apologize. All right. First round: Timberlake versus NSYNC.
NSYNC.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not see that coming. That was wow. All right.
Absolutely.
I did not. Sorry, I was kind of thrown away from that. I just didn't see that coming. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask one little. I'm sorry. This is a personal question.
Go ahead.
What about NSYNC you think is better than Timberlake's solo career?
I think they just had better songs, like better bops.
Okay.
Like nothing against Timberlake. I think he is or was talented. Is a pretty good songwriter, and had a lot of connections to good producers. But his music, I wouldn't listen to. I'm just not into it. Versus
gotcha.
like NSYNC, not that. I mean, I think NSYNC's just fun music to put on.
Yeah.
And I would much rather listen to that than Timberlake.
Hey, nothing's wrong with that. Sorry, I was just curious. I was thrown off by that. I thought I saw that going differently in my head. So that's why I was like kind of a little shocked for a second. All right.
We'll be back after these commercial breaks.
Yeah, exactly. That's how my brain was. All right. So the next one, I feel like this is going to be an easy one.
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce versus Destiny's Child.
Beyonce.
Okay. That was easy. All right.
That's the last answer.
Yeah, anyone who says that, please let us know at musicmusingspodcast@gmail.com. I want to hear. If you say that, you gotta really, really back that up.
If you went with Destiny's Child, please let us know.
Yeah, I please. I need to hear this dissertation on why, because that's a bold take. Anyway, next, Harry Styles versus One Direction.
One Direction.
Whoa, really? Go ahead.
I'm just not about Harry Styles' music. I don't listen to it enough, so I don't get it.
Okay.
And the stuff I have heard, I just kind of find sometimes it's a little boring.
Okay.
Like don't get me wrong, there's some songs I do like, but most of it that I've listened to is just kind of just boring, or
okay.
It's been done already kind of thing.
Yeah, that one I definitely understand. That one I can definitely understand. Yeah, I get it.
Where, One Direction, it's, I expect that formula. It's a boy band formula, so like, I get it. So again, it's like, that's more enjoyable for me to listen to. So I will choose that over something I just don't like.
I get it. That's fair. All right. Fair enough. All right.
So am I?
And,
I'm gonna ask you round 2. How about that? We're gonna switch
please.
it up.
Throw it around. Go for it.
All right. So round 2. Here we go. Ice Cube versus NWA.
I love both very much, but I think I'm gonna have to lean NWA. I think that's as much as I enjoyed his solo career, I think I'm gonna have to go. And the group aspect was just not only because of the music, but also because of just the movement and as well as the West. Like, I always believe in music competition is great. East Coast was dominating hip hop, and if anything, was considered where hip hop is, and it is where it started. But I think the fact that NWA was like the first pioneers of the West Coast sound, I'm sentimental to the historical factor. So I'm gonna go the group on this one, NWA.
Understand. I think I would go with you there on that. Camila. Oh, I'm saying it wrong. I'm saying it so wrong. Camila Cabello. Boy.
Cabello, yeah.
Cabello, thank you. Versus Fifth Harmony.
I'm gonna go Camila on this one. I think I've heard a few of songs from Fifth Harmony, but I think her music, I think she's better. The group is cool, but I think she's just a better artist. I think I just know her from singles and radio hits and some collaborations. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with her on that. Her solo career.
Yeah. Okay. This one's tough. Well, actually, I kind of think I know where you're gonna go on this.
Oof. Go for it.
Lauryn Hill versus Fugees.
I love Lauryn Hill, but and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was one of my most famous Fugees. I'm gonna have to go Fugees just because I want her and Wyclef. It is what I need. I need it. I need more music. I think there's just much more body of work with her with Fugees and everything that they try to do. As much as I love Lauryn Hill, she only had that one album, and I think that was it. She might have collaborated here and there, but in terms of solo projects, I don't think she's had anything else after that. So I'm gonna have to go Fugees on this.
Okay.
Was that the answer you're expecting?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was.
You read me like a book.
Yeah.
All right.
How about round 3? We both kind of say our thoughts here.
All right. Want to take the first one?
Sure. So, first one is Phil Collins versus Genesis. I'm gonna go.
You go for it.
Phil Collins.
Same here. I think it's just the amount of work this guy has done. Obviously, with the Miami Vice, with Tarzan, which I keep bringing up. He's just done such great work, and I think he is just a very all-around talented guy. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it's hard to argue against that. It's Phil Collins.
Yeah. it's Phil Collins. So
yeah, it's Phil. It's Phil.
That's it.
It's Phil.
Just Phil.
All right. So for the next one, Sting versus The Police. Go for it. I think you want me to go first? Or you want to?
Yeah. Where are you at with this one?
The Police. I like Sting. I know. Sorry, guys. Derek is like giving me those eyes of judgment. I'm sorry. It's just I heard about the band first, and I guess that's where my attachment starts. And I don't know. That's where I stand. I there's no disrespect to his solo career. It's just that's where I stand.
No, I get it. I'm thinking now of like some of the songs by The Police, and I'm like, okay, actually,
yeah.
But I'm still going with Sting. So
okay,
that's where
that's fair.
I'm going with him on that.
Okay, all right.
Just I think his just ability of songwriting and what he did after the band musically to me was just so much more elevated than I think the Police were.
Okay.
Because it was his own sound. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Sting.
Okay, that's fair. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
And want to take the last one?
Yeah. George Michael or versus Wham.
That's a tough one. Go for it.
I'm going Wham.
I'm have to go that way too. As much as I love George Michael, as much as I love George Michael, I sorry, it's Wham. You can't fight that. Like was it late 80s or mid late 80s?
I think it's like 80s in general. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, I'm sorry. Like I think I like his. I did discover his solo career a little bit more later. But I know Wham more before, him. So.
I mean, they had, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
That's exact. Oh, come on.
Right?
Come on.
And then you got the Christmas classic Last Christmas.
Which we discussed before.
Which is the saddest Christmas song, but it's the greatest, Christmas song.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's just straight bangers. So
straight, like it's hard to argue against that, but I think it's just when we think about George Michael, and which, like I said, I've been discovering his solo career a little bit more lately, but a lot of his past, all his music, but but it's just Wham, just that's like core memories right there. Wake Me Up Before You Go. It's just you could put that on at any given moment, and that's it. Like whatever like stress you had, you're just jamming.
You're just going. You're going.
Yeah, you are. Like you are. Like that's a jam. That's a jam to me. Yeah. But all right. All right.
So let's get into the final segment here.
Okay.
Which are groups still relevant in today's music climate? What do you think?
As much as I hold the nostalgia for the groups in my teenage years growing up, I think it's harder to use the same formula in the past today. And in my opinion, I think they're relevant, but it's harder to pull off. And when I'm saying that, it's like everybody is now, I think, in the the climate of music today and the way how we discover artists and how artists are able to promote themselves and go viral on social media. I think it's harder to like keep that group collective perspective in today's age, because everybody's going to be thinking about who's the breakout guy, who's the breakout girl in the group. It's always that's like the first thing I think some people's eyes, like when they see a group, they're immediately thinking like, okay, who's going to be the star that separates from the group? Who's the next Beyonce out of all of them? And I feel like it's harder to do that in today's age, but I hope that it doesn't stop people from doing it. But I feel like it's going to be. I think that's just the way how we are now in music. So, how do you feel about it?
I mean, I think it's certainly still relevant. I think there's still plenty of successful groups currently. I think a lot of what we're seeing is, the K-pop world is kind of taking over. And that has its own way of, forming bands.
That's true.
And a lot of it, though, I mean, there's a lot of issues with it, though, of course. And there's a lot of controversy behind how these groups are made. If it's ethical, like there's been a lot of kind of things talked about, behind closed doors that don't sound great of how these bands are made. And I'm not going to go into all that because it's just that's a whole episode itself.
Yeah.
But there's certainly still, I think, relevance. Like people still want, these bands, these boy bands, these girl bands, K-pop. It's still a thing. But I think to your point, I think it is a little bit more difficult just because, how the music industry has certainly kind of shifted its way of making money. It's not so much on, selling CDs or whatever now. It's more about getting exposure and selling out arenas and getting the most streams. But that isn't always, the number one priority anymore. It's, how can we get you popular on social media and really getting that exposure? So it's a changed world, of course, and it's adapting to the current times. But yeah, all that to say, I think it is still relevant. It's just there's a lot of things happening that makes it tougher to be a band.
Yeah, that's you're right. There's been success with the K-pop group, and and their sound is now becoming more mainstream and becoming more worldwide success. But you're right. It's definitely very challenging, but there are some elements of people attempting some success. BTS, certain they're actually making a comeback. But it's like you're right. It's harder with the music climate today. But I get what you're saying. You're right, though.
Yeah. So, we definitely see the values in these groups and the impact they make. Culture, radio, social media, kids, teenagers' minds, fashion. So it's definitely still out there, and I think there's always going to be a place for this type of music. Yeah. At least for the next 5-10 years, I could see it. But I think it's what we talked about. Usually, there's always a star within these groups that eventually will kind of break away and start to make their own career. And sometimes it works out and they become very successful. And other times they just kind of fade into the background, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
yeah, I agree with that.
But thank you for joining us for this episode. As always, please email us and subscribe to our podcast. And what else? We were going to announce something else, weren't we?
Yes. We are in the process of starting a website, and it's still in its genesis phase. The URL is going to be musicmusingspodcast.com, and everything. I was about to say Gmail again. It's music. I got so used to saying that, but it's musicmusingspodcast.com. It's going to be a central hub for everything, where you can get updates. You can get, we'll put up our newest, behind the scenes. We'll put up pictures of things we're at, places, announcements, and as well as you can, listen to the podcast there. From there, you can also reach to us much faster. If you don't feel like sending an email, you can go to the website. You can talk to us directly. So we're turning it into a central hub of everything you need to know about our platform and our growing platform. But please give it a moment to check it out. We'll be updating it thoroughly over the next few weeks and months. But we have a lot more content in mind for you guys.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. If you have an idea for an intro or an outro that we could play on our show, please send to musicmusingspodcast@gmail.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please email us at musicmusingspodcast@gmail.com.